and welcome to my channel. My name is Morgan and I like to talk about the things I'm knitting on the internet. I am a labor and delivery nurse living just outside of Seattle, Washington, where it is so nice and sunshiny and warm right now. I don't have very much time to record today, but this will be a traditional podcast episode, so I'll go over my single finished object, give you updates on my works in progress. I have a couple plans that I'll be casting on here soon, 2 acquisitions, and then we'll get into some book chat. So if those are things that interest you, please grab your project and start working and we will go through things. I want to start by sharing what I'm wearing. This is my Eva cardigan and I'm wearing athletic shorts because that's comfy. This is my Eva cardigan. It is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It is a fingering weight half fisherman's rib cardigan. You heard that correctly. And believe it or not, this is the project that got me back into knitting last year. You heard all of that correct, and it is psychotic. I used yarn from Craft Me Not Yarn Co. The main color is just like a bare undyed. And I can't remember the names of the stripe colors. There's a like olive color, a like mauvey pink, and a brown. I will link the project page for my Ravelry for this cardigan down below, where I will also have links for all of my other projects as well as any yarn or notions and things like that that I chat about. I want to start with my May socks. So here are my May socks. They are finished, which means I'm like basically caught up in my year of socks. This is the Seafarer sock pattern by Summer Lee Knits. It's in her sock book. I can't remember what the book's called, but I'll link it below. I used a sock set from Woolberry Fiber Co. It is called Autumns in Vancouver. The main color is this really pretty green and then the gold for the accent. But the cable work in this pattern was super fun. They worked up really quickly. I believe the cable row was like every 4 rows, so it was very, how they say, potato chippy. I was just like, let me do one more cable row, let me do one more cable row, and then I knitted them up pretty quickly. The first one I actually knitted up in just a few days, so I started these late on May 16th and finished on June 2nd. I knitted a size medium on 2.25 millimeter needles, which is right now my kind of preference. And I did a traditional heel flap and gusset with slip stitches. I used about 58 grams of yarn for these, so 232 yards in total, and I love them. I made them on the shorter side. I really want to be able to wear them with like Birkenstocks and things like that, like in the cooler like summer spring nights, but they'll also peek up above like my high top Vans and Blundstones. So those are my May socks. Next, let's chat about works in progress. My first one I have a ton of progress on, which I'm really excited about. This is my Eva cardigan by Petite Knit. The last time I shared it, I was working on the body, and I have since finished the body, done the ribbing for the body, picked up and knit the collar with the button band, and I am on the ribbing for the sleeves. Well, the first sleeve. So this is where I was last time. I was basically done with the body. I just needed to try it on and see. I did want to make this a little bit cropped, so right now it's sitting like just below my waist down, and I know with blocking it'll grow just a little bit, but I'm very happy with how this is working up so far. As a reminder, I am using Farmer's Daughter Fibers Pishkun in the color Why Johnny Ringo, which I have right here. It's a really pretty like mustardy brown color. And yeah, I am to the point in a couple of my projects where I cannot work on them unless I cake up more yarn, and I don't know what it is about caking up yarn. It is probably my least favorite thing to do as a knitter. I would much rather weave in my ends than cake up yarn, even though it takes 2 minutes. So the collar and button band are worked in a 2x2 rib, And I bound off using an Italian bind off. I'll link it if I can find it again. But I worked the bind off on the wrong side, and so it made it look really pretty on the right side. If you can see it there. So yeah, I am through the body of the sleeve. I did all of the decreases and I just need to work. I think it's 4 inches of 2x2 rib, and I've done, I think, 2 rounds. So need to do that, and then the second sleeve, but I think this is gonna be done pretty soon because it's just a sleeve. Sleeves work up so quickly. So yeah. Oh, and I want to share the buttons. So I got these buttons from Holland Hoof Farm Store. They are the buttons that Andrea Mowry used in her most recent cardigan release. Like the Come Home Again something cardigan. And they are absolutely perfect for this yarn. They're ceramic handmade quilt star buttons. And when I held them up, I did not buy these with the intention of using them with this, but when I held them up, a more perfect match does not exist. I literally just bought these because I thought they were pretty, and they're perfect. So really, really, really excited to finish this guy up. Maybe it'll be finished in my next podcast episode. That would be wild. I'm gonna leave the yarn out so that I remember to cake it up. I started the Eva Cardigan on February 27th. I'm a slow knitter, and that's okay. I'm knitting a size 2, and I'm using 3.75mm needles for the body, and then I dropped down to a 3.25 for the ribs. Okay, my next update is for the Harvest Tee by Ozetta. This is one that was a fresh cast on in my last podcast episode. It is a bottom-up t-shirt. I am using, oh, I'm in the middle of a row. That is so unlike me. I am using Illimani Sabri for this, which is a cotton and baby alpaca blend. 85% organic cotton, and 15% baby alpaca. It is so dang soft. And this is the color 82 cream. I'm in the middle of a row because I also need to cake up all of this. So add that to the pile. I have finished the body. This marker, this black marker, shows where I was last time. So it has doubled in size since you last saw it. And it looks massive, but it's an oversized tee, and I did try it on and it's not actually massive, it's perfect. So I finished the body and I'm currently working the back panel. I've done a couple inches on the back panel. And I'm really, really enjoying this. I did shorten it. To be completely honest, just got really, really sick and tired of knitting stockinette in the round, and I wanted some variety. All I was doing in all of my projects was knitting stockinette in the round, and I shortened it by like ½ an inch. I am knitting the size 2 on 3.25mm needles, and I cast it on April 16th. So yeah, I shortened the body by maybe ½ an inch, but I think it's gonna be just fine. It is largely oversized, but I'm pumped. I wish that I wasn't in the middle of a round, because then you could see that although it looks quite oversized, it's fine. Maybe I'll be able to try it on next time. But yeah, I am just going to cake up a ball of yarn and work on the back panel, and then I think you work the front panel and then do a little bit of shoulder shaping, and then I think it's a 3 needle bind off to combine the back and front panels, and then short sleeves, and we're done. So I would love to have this finished. I'm going down to California. My sister's having a baby in July, so I'm going down to California for like 3.5 weeks when she has her baby, and I would love for this to be finished before I go. If not, maybe I would love for all of these projects to be finished before I go, because I don't really have the space to bring them with me. I'm traveling with my cat, so it's just my cat and a carry-on, and I don't really have room for a bunch of projects. So hopefully this and everything else will be finished by then. Okay, my next whip update is a baby sweater. Alex, look away if you're watching. This is the Festival Sweater by Petite Knit, and it's so dang cute. Since my last episode, I have finished the body and one sleeve. All I have left is the second sleeve and she will be done. My goal is to finish this. We're throwing a little baby shower at the end of June, so my goal is to have this finished by then, and I think it will be super, super simple to do that. I think on the last podcast I talked about knitting my friend, the mom, a pair of socks to match, and I don't know how I feel about that. Knitting small circumference for the sleeve with this patterning, the stripe patterning, was not my favorite thing I've ever done. But we'll see what happens. I think it's so cute. So again, this is the Festival Sweater by Petite Knit. I'm knitting the size 5, which is a size 6 to 9 months. And I'm using 3mm needles, 2.5mm needles for the ribbings. I love a double folded collar. And it's just super, super cute, super quick to work up. And I think she's gonna love it. She does not know the gender of her baby, so I'm stuck to gender neutral palette, and I love the way that it came out. Well, it's not finished, but I love it. Okay, my last work in progress is a fresh cast on. I cast on a project using this yarn by Yarn Nouveau. It is their Surrey alpaca lace in the color Vineyard. I'm sure I've told this story before, but I saw this at Flock last year from across the convention center and immediately had to have it. And now I'm knitting it up. I am knitting the Lily Sheer Top by Irene Lynn, and I started this on May 18th. This is where I'm at. I have it on the smallest circumference needles because it's way easier to knit with this fine mohair on smaller circumference, but it's working up really nicely. I'm knitting a size 2 for the body and a size 3 for the sleeves, and it's turning out perfect. My upper arm circumference, I have broad shoulders and muscular arms, so I size up on my sleeves pretty frequently. And so that's what I did. I just did a couple of extra sleeve increase rounds before I started the raglan. And I have since finished the raglan, and I am technically at the point where I should split for sleeves, but I put it on some try-it-on tubing this morning, and I've decided that I want to knit a few extra rows just to like increase the armhole depth because it was kind of up close, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna knit a few more rows and then I will split for sleeves, and then this should work up pretty quickly because it's cropped. I really, really love the way this yarn is working up. It is getting pretty blown out. But it's like a, oh, there we go, that's better. I keep calling it an ugly green, but it's like a greeny yellow brown. It's really, really nice, and I'm excited to wear this like basically all year round because you can wear like a bralette or tank top underneath it, or you can wear long sleeves under it. I am a little bit nervous about the neckline, so I'm going to show a picture from the pattern page. I don't know if you can see, the neckband comes up pretty close, so I'm a little nervous that once I add the neckline, I'm gonna want more length before I split for the armholes, so maybe I should add the neckline and then try it on again before I split for sleeves, because I can do that with like the inside strand of yarn. It's an I-cord. I might do that because I would hate to frog single stranded mohair or Surrey, whatever. That sounds miserable. So we'll see, but I am loving the way that it is coming out. Something that I will say about the pattern is that it's not the clearest I've ever read, but it's easy enough to figure out. One thing that I do wish is that she had included like total number of stitches, so like after your raglan increases you should have this many stitches for the front, the sleeves, and the back, and she doesn't really do that. She just gives you the total number of stitches, so I found myself doing a little bit of math. And then I also wish that she had included the length from the cast on to where you should split for sleeves, like how long should that be in centimeters or inches, and she didn't really include that, so I'm kind of having a tough time figuring out where I want to do that split, but I am figuring it out as I go along. And yeah, I also would love for this to be done before I go to California for a month, but we will see what happens. Okay, that is all for my works in progress. I do have a couple of plans that I want to share with you. So first up is my June socks, which I have not started. It's June 5th. It's gonna be okay. I knitted the last pair of socks in 2 weeks and it's gonna be okay. Okay? So I have picked out the Hibernal Socks by Summerlee, which is a pattern that I have been drooling over for so long. And I don't know why I haven't knit it yet, but we're doing it. Last episode I showed this yarn off. It's by Coast to Coast Yarn Co. And it is the natural sock. So it's 100% non-superwash merino. It's fingering weight and the color is Midnight Crescent. So in the last episode I was talking about how I was a little nervous to knit socks in a non-superwash wool, and I got a lot of really great ideas and a lot of really great like positive comments of how they knit socks with non-superwash yarn and they hold up fine. So I think that I really want to make these into Hibernal socks because they'll match everything and I'll wear the crap out of them. I am contemplating holding a strand of mohair for the heel flap and the toe. I have a mohair, like leftover mohair, that I think would match really well. So we'll see if I do that, but I'm really excited for these. And I also was like, do I really want to knit cabled socks 2 months in a row? Cabled Summerlee socks 2 months in a row? But the answer is yes, I do. These have been on my list for so long, and I'm really excited to finally work them up. I do think that I'm going to make them like shorties as well, but we'll see what happens. Okay, my second plan is with my handspun that I showed off last episode. I had talked about how it was a lot of incorrect math, so I think that I have like 300 and something yards of this. It's a sport weight. So I have picked out the Sailor Swift top by Veronica Lindberg, or Kutavakika. I am not a Taylor Swift fan. Do not get it twisted. I am not a Taylor Swift fan, but the Sailor Swift top is super cute. I will show you. So this is Veronica's sample photo. Just a super simple tank top pattern. And I'm someone who wears tank tops kind of all year round. I wear them in the summer on their own, but also in the fall and winter I'll wear them like underneath cardigans or jackets or whatever. So I brought this to my local yarn shop, which is the Nifty Knitter in Issaquah, and I found this Knitting for Olive. It's just their merino in dark cognac. And I got a few balls of this and decided that I'm going to knit up the Sailor Swift tank with, obviously this will be the main color and this will be the contrast color stripes. And I'm really excited about it. I do need to swatch still. Maybe I'll cake this up with all the other yarn I need to cake up today. And I want to make sure that my gauge is okay because I believe it's a fingering weight pattern. Yeah, it's a fingering weight pattern. This is fingering weight yarn, but my handspun is definitely more sport weight, so I am going to play around with gauge and kind of see what I need to do to make it happen. But I'm really excited for this combo, and I think that it's colors that I will wear very frequently. Brown is, if you couldn't tell by all my whips, brown is my like preferred clothing item color if it's not black. So I'm excited about that. Okay, let's get into acquisitions. I don't always have acquisitions, but I participated in a couple of pre-orders, so I do have 2. The first is fiber. I ordered some fiber from Hello Lavender. Oh no. There we go, from Hello Lavender. I can't remember what this pre-order was called, but I got 2 colors. I got Leaf. This is on Rambouillet. It's 4 ounces. It's a really pretty green. Are we surprised? No. And I also got Dahlia. And I'm going to spin these separately into 2-plies. And then maybe use them in a project together, maybe not, we'll see. My goal this year, like since learning to spin, has been to do a braid a month. I'm nervous to start a braid right now because I am kind of in the thick of grad school right now and my course load is heavy, and I'm still like, I'm working as a nurse, and I'm also like preparing to go to California for almost a month. So I might take the months of June and July off of spinning, which is funny because I was like, maybe spinning is going to be the hobby that pulls me out of my summer knitting slump. LOL. We'll see. Maybe I'll start a spin, maybe I won't, but if I do, it'll probably be this one. And we'll see what happens. But I am really excited about these fibers. And I do have one more pre-ordered fiber on the way, but other than that, I am kind of done with collecting fiber for the time being. I have a few braids that I need to spin up, and I don't want to get out of control. So there we are. They're also really pretty together. So I think they would look nice in a little something together, but we'll see what happens. My second acquisition is from Lindsay at Hello Stella. First, I have to show off these cute fish stitch markers. So these were custom made. I ordered them from her. So this guppy is ravens inspired. So you can see it's black, purple, and gold. And then this is my emo fishy. It's checkered. Oh. It's checkered. They're so, so cute. I have several of her fish stitch markers and I love them. They are probably my most frequently used stitch markers. I was going to show you a couple more that I have, but they're on projects right now, so I'm really excited to add these to my collection. I also grabbed some yarn. So this is her wild wool, which is 100% Canadian sheep's wool. It's untreated and then dyed. So this is her woolen spun 2-ply. It's a worsted weight, I believe. This is the cream base, and then the colorway that's dyed onto it is cedar. I have a few of these already in my stash, and I'm planning on knitting. What's that sweater called? The Stockholm sweater? It's like striped and textured on one of the stripes. I think it's the Stockholm sweater, but I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'll put it down here. But I love this. I also have some of her undyed, just cream base. So I think that I'll do those with that. And then I also got a few of the, I think this was the gray base. And then, yeah, the dark gray base. And then the colorway on it is yarrow. And it is the most beautiful yellowy green. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So I'm really excited to knit up a pullover in this. I'm thinking like something similar to the Lakes pullover, honestly. This is 113 grams, 220 yards, and I have 6 of them. I think I could knit another Lakes pullover in this. That might be what I do, but we'll see. There's so many good worsted weight patterns that I knew that I would find one that was perfect for these, but I do really, really love the fit of my Lakes pullover, so that is a good contender for these. For those of you who are only here for the knit chat, that is all I've got for you today. I am hoping to record one more episode before I go to California, so hopefully like 3 weeks from now. And then I'll be pretty absent on here for the month of July, but then I'll be back in August. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope that you got some progress done on your project. I know this was kind of a short, rapid Spitfire one, but I don't have very much time today, so I wanted to get something recorded. For those of you that are interested in the book chat, let's get into it. I have kind of read a lot in the last 3 weeks since I last recorded, so I believe that last time I was reading this book, Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane, which I have now discovered is like a 7 or 8 book series. I read this for my thriller book club and I loved it, and all of the gals in my thriller book club, we all loved it. So I highly recommend this. It's just a really good thriller. The ending has me intrigued to read the second one, but I'm holding off for now, but I do recommend this one. After that, I picked up Alex North's new book from Book of the Month called The Man Made of Smoke. I am a big fan of Alex North. He wrote The Whisper Man. He's written several books that I've really loved. He's kind of a mashup of thriller and horror, and that is my bread and butter. So I really, really, really enjoyed this. I think I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. That sounds right. It was just really, really good. I'm having some book confusion because the last 2 books that I read are about like murder trials, and they're both kind of similar. Anyway, so this one is a man goes back to his hometown when his dad goes missing, and he starts kind of uncovering these serial murders that have to do with a situation that he was involved in when he was younger, when he saw an older man and a young boy in a restroom, like walking out of a restroom together, and he kind of like had this pull to help the little boy and didn't, and kind of lives with the guilt from that since then. A bunch of the people that are involved at that rest area start turning up missing, and this was really good. Really good. Not too much horror, a little spooky, a little creepy, but it was super, super good. The last book that I read was the new Stephen King, Never Flinch. This is a part of the Holly Gibney series, which started with the Finders Keepers series with Bill Hodges. This is now the 4th Holly Gibney series, and we love Holly Gibney. This was a really, really fun one. It kind of had 2 separate stories going on. So one of the stories is a like gospel singer who's kind of coming out of retirement and going to tour again. The other is about a feminist, like pro-choice, very, very like women's rights, like podcaster maybe? She like has lectures, and there's murders involved on both sides, and the stories kind of start intertwining, and Holly Gibney is involved in both of them, and it's just really, really fantastic. This is not Stephen King's best book, but it was a thriller that I really, really did enjoy, and it was fun to see more of Holly and Jerome and Barbara because we know them and we love them. So this was just a really fun one, and I'm hoping that with the ending it means that this is not the end of Holly Gibney. So I think we'll see her again. Will you believe me when I tell you that both of my favorite authors have put out a book in the last week and a half? Because it's true. So Stephen King, and I am currently reading Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am about 100 pages in. This came out on Tuesday, and I am loving it. I am loving it. The way that Taylor Jenkins Reid has me so invested in characters, like in less than 100 pages, is out of this world. Ha, literally. So this is about female astronauts, and I did not know if I was going to actually be interested in this book, but I am so intrigued. I cannot stop thinking about it. I wish that I could stop reading my textbooks so that I could always read this, but it's super, super interesting so far. Again, I'm pretty early on in the book, but I've already cried because I'm so invested in these characters. Her storytelling is beautiful. You can tell she put her research into NASA and space, and it's just really, really refreshing. Haven't finished it yet, but will absolutely highly recommend this. The next book that I will be reading is for my thriller book club. I'm gonna read Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. Again, this is a Book of the Month book. February 2025, they started putting the year and month back on Book of the Month books. Thank you, they heard me. So I'm reading this for my thriller book clubs. A couple of the gals have already read it and said that they could hardly put it down, so I'm really excited to read another thriller. While I'm in California, I'm going to start diving into the Throne of Glass series with my sister. So I am trying to get all my thriller and horror out of my system right now so that I can dive back into fantasy, because I have a pretty small fantasy threshold. I don't like to read too much of it because the storylines kind of all end up winding up together. So I'm excited that I'm reading all of my favorites right now. Let's go through a book haul. I've picked up a couple of books in the last few weeks. I had some gift cards for Barnes & Noble, so I went a couple times. I went once when I was in California. I went once here when the Stephen King book came out, and I had gift cards. So I picked this one up based on a staff note. Red Rabbit, it's about like witchcraft and like hunting witches, which is like right up my alley, and it sounded so good. So I'm excited about this one. What Kind of Paradise has been getting really good reviews. This one also just came out on Tuesday, and I was lucky to find it at my Barnes & Noble early when I was there. The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig, another one of my favorite authors. I am excited to see what this one is about. I didn't really read the synopsis of this. I just know and love Chuck Wendig, so I bought it. Oh, you guys. This book is one of the reasons why I went to Barnes & Noble a couple of weeks ago. The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. She wrote the One Dark Window duology, and I loved that duology. I went to Barnes & Noble and I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive, which has sprayed edges, and we've already talked about this. I don't love sprayed edges, but you know what I like less is this paper. This is the paper that children's picture books are written on. It is stark white, it is glossy, it is horrible. Whoever made this decision should be fired. And I don't know if the reason it's printed on this paper is because of the sprayed edges, but the sprayed edges are not worth it if that's the case. If I read this in the sun, I'm gonna get a glare. This is a fireable offense in my opinion, but I was so excited for this book, and then I opened it and I was just like, I'm full of regrets. I should have just picked it up on my Kindle. It's pretty, but I should have just picked it up on my Kindle. So I thought I was gonna kind of immediately dive into it, and instead I have not, because I'm disappointed. Okay, rapid fire here. I picked up the 50th anniversary edition of Jaws because it's black and turquoise, and I just thought it was really pretty. And just super simple. And I love Jaws. Who doesn't, right? I had to. The Invisible Monsters by Chuck Palahniuk. I have been wanting to read this for a while, and I just really liked this cover. I hadn't seen it before, so I grabbed it. Skeleton Keys by Brian Switek. This is one that just got me. There was a table at Barnes & Noble with a poster on it that said Morbid Curiosity. And so I ran up to the table and said, this is made for me. So this is The Secret Life of Bone. So Tor's bone structure and what happens to bones after we die, and I just thought it sounded really, really interesting. This is a before bed book for sure. I'm really excited. Gut, because I lost my copy somewhere and I want to reread it because I'm taking nutrition for sports medicine right now, and it's teaching me some things that I thought I knew that I don't know, and so I wanted to do a reread of Gut. And then I also picked up Frederick Bachman's new book, My Friends, which I've heard is really good. I tried to read Beartown and did not get super into it, so I am a little bit apprehensive, but I've heard this is good, so I picked it up. It is what it is. Yeah, that's all I've got for you. I wish that I had thought to do a book club for Atmosphere, because I want to be reading this with someone, and none of my friends are reading it right now, and I want to talk about it. If you're reading Atmosphere right now, please, please, please find me on Instagram. I'm the Emo and Knitter on Instagram, and let's chat about it, because I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read all of her books. I will read anything she writes. I know it's a romance novel, but I love her writing. So that's how I feel. Thank you. That's all for this episode. Thanks for sticking around. I would love to hear what you were working on, what you're reading right now, what books are coming out that you're excited for. Are you going to any yarn festivals this year? I will be returning to Flock, and I'm taking some classes for spinning that I'm really excited about. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sticking around. And I hope to see you again next time. Happy knitting.